Hi everybody. Yeah, it's a late afternoon. Another gray, dreary day, but at least it's not raining. I'm gonna do a beer I have not ever had before. Apparently it's a new one from Anchor. I'm gonna do their IPA. There's a lot on the website. I'm not gonna read it all, but it says an adventurous new brew from America's original craft brewery. The California Gold Rush lured thousands west to, quote, see the elephant, a 19th century metaphor for the hopeful but risky pursuit of happiness, adventure, and fortune. As early as 1849, India Pale Ale, prepared by British brewers for export to India by adding dry hops to barrels of hoppy ale, was also heading west, from England around the Horn to San Francisco. Thirsty 49ers savored the best imported IPAs, but it wasn't until 1975 that Anchor, America's original craft beer, pioneered the revival of dry hopped handmade ales. Now that tradition fast forwards to an adventurous new brew, Anchor IPA. There's a lot more. I'll put it down below, but I'm not gonna read it. Apparently this is a new brew, first brewed this year. 6.5% ABV. I didn't get the IBUs on it, so let me get this Anchor beer poured. Like I said, I've never had this one before. Well, I did. Okay, I'll take that back. I had a glass last night, so I have had it before, but I had not had it before last night. But we got a dark brown, almost amber beer. Seems to be a moderate amount of carbonation streaming up. Finger and a half maybe of a lightly tan head, dark khaki maybe. Nice looking IPA. So let me get a nose on it. Okay, yeah, you can tell this is going to be a malt dominant IPA. There's a big sweetness here. There's like some honey and like some sweet bread. So maybe like some candied fruits in there. It's almost like a spice cake. Definitely not what you expect from a West Coast IPA, that's for sure. There is a soft hop aroma, but it's not one of those citrus bombs that you're normally used to getting from West Coast brewers. There's a little pine, little mango, maybe just a hint of banana in there, but definitely not your typical West Coast IPA. More like a British IPA. So let's get a taste on it. Okay, yeah, there's that big, sweet, malty fruitiness right up front. Really distinct fruitiness that carries through the whole mouth. There's a bit of some light bitterness mid-palate, but it isn't enough to overcome that sweetness. That's for sure. The hops are like stone fruit. Like pear and apple, maybe just a hint of some tropical fruits. There's a little bit of, on the finish, there's a little bit of that. I mentioned it once before. It's an odd flavor, but not in a bad way. That sort of an aspirin, bark-like bitterness that kind of cuts through the sweetness on the end. So it is kind of a slightly bitter end, but there's still some, biscuity and earthy aftertaste notes, and some tropical hops, on the front and throughout. But this is definitely more like an English style IPA than any kind of American IPA, and particularly a West Coast IPA. It's medium bodied, a little bit creamy, as a matter of fact. carbonation is low, so that gives it kind of that creamy feel. Just a nice nice tasting. I'd say it's a nice tasting take on an English IPA. So let me sit. I will sit and sip on this a while. I'll come back in a while with the final thoughts and grade. Okay, I'm back. It's only been 10 minutes or so. Didn't want to delay too long before the light goes totally bad. But you know, overall, this is a good IPA. Don't expect anything like you normally get from the West Coast, California. It's very, very different than any of those. It's not West Coast at all. Like I said, it tastes more English in style. It's got that nice, you know, maltiness and a nice fruity, lightly tropical kick, and maybe some little added like woody, bark-like, almost like I said, aspirin, woody, bark-like bitterness there towards the end. I mean, they're not going for that resiny, piney, citrusy hop bomb that you usually get from the West Coast. I think they're doing a nice take on the roots of the beer and what it was, and it's not one I'm going to rush out and get, you know, anytime soon, but it's a nice, enjoyable beer. So I'm going to give the Anchor IPA, apparently new this year, I'm going to give it a good solid 8.5 out of 10. Decent, drinkable beer. If you're looking for a decent IPA and don't want a hop bomb, this might be the one for you. So till next time, everybody, cheers. Let's keep drinking good beers.